here on the temporary stands built specifically for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It sits about 17,000 people, and we're pretty high up, but we have an excellent view of the field. Toronto's temporary stands have recently come under scrutiny from the public and the media. Many have noted the stands look dangerous and even sway back and forth. So what's going on here? Let's get into it. I'm Kel, and this is Spelled Out. As Toronto gets excited for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, questions have arisen about the safety of the temporary stands at BMO Field, which will briefly be renamed Toronto Stadium for the duration of this summer's World Cup, which starts on June 12th with the Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina game. Toronto Stadium will play host to a half-dozen FIFA matches, the last of which will be on July 2nd, with teams yet to be determined. You can see the temporary stands behind me as they extend out, and they are on both sides of the pitch. Experts and builders alike note that the sway of the stands may be disconcerting, but the stands are as safe as most houses. Specifically, Jeremy Troden is the managing director of the major events division of Arena Group, which is the company that built these temporary stands. He sat down with National Post reporter Chris Knight and explains further.
We put up grandstands and temporary structures for many events and major events around the world. And my team looks after those major events and the one-offs where the level of scrutiny can be a bit higher. On the level of major events, in terms of global TV audience, I think that the FIFA World Cup is probably number one.
Troden understands the stands may look a little hodgepodge, but he said safety is paramount.
We are all about the engineering and the strength. That is what we're there to do. We put up these sort of stands all around the world.
That means building the stadium for the event and its attendees, plus what he calls the dynamic. It's like a spectrum of energy, noting the difference between a rock concert and events with calmer audiences that are mostly sitting down. He also added that stands become more stable once there are people in them.
When they're loaded with people, that is when they are in their most robust configuration, if that makes sense.
He pointed out that temporary seating is the fiscally responsible way to go. Think of the many stadiums across the world that sit empty after the Olympics have come and gone. Brazil learned that lesson the hard way, investing heavily in permanent structures for the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Summer Olympics, only to see one stadium turned into a parking lot and the other rented out for weddings and birthdays. Arena Group, in contrast, once built a complete 34,000-seat stadium in Long Island, New York for the 2024 Cricket World Cup. It came together in a little over 3 months, hosted 8 matches over 10 days, and then was taken down. Doug Perovic, a professional engineer and professor at the University of Toronto, said that the network of trusses at BMO Field may look unnerving to people who don't understand structural integrity, but they are safe and designed and built according to the Ontario Building Code and other relevant standards.
The building code has various parts to it. The dead load, first of all, that's the load of the structure itself. Then you've got the so-called live load, so that's once you load it up with people. And then you've got kind of dynamic live loads, sway forces, people moving, wind loading, rain. All of these are additively combined into what's called a limit states design, and they all have factors of safety. So an extra margin of protection, if you like.
That said, as to whether the stands feel safe or not,
you can still feel unsafe. I mean, that's a perception and feel thing. Okay, this thing's moving, doesn't make me feel so good. And
it's also a case of understanding the history of BMO Field, which was completed in 2007 to accommodate Toronto FC. Richard Petty, who was president and CEO of MLSE between 1998 and 2011, who oversaw the acquisition of Toronto FC as well as the construction and operation of BMO Field in its early years, had this to say.
It became a $60 million stadium that fit the times. That's, 20 years ago. It fit the times and it fit the financials. It was a league where you could buy a team for $10 million. And you don't build $1 billion stadium for a $10 million team. If all of a sudden you had a permanent 50,000 seat stadium it would look really empty a lot.
If you are afraid of heights, these are maybe not the seats for you.
Likely, the concern that attendees on temporary stands need to keep in mind during World Cup matches is to watch out for sunburn and dehydration. So, what do you think? Are you worried about the temporary stands at Toronto Stadium? Would you be excited to see a game there? Let us know in the comments below. For more on this story, be sure to check out the entire article written and researched by the National Post's Chris Knight. I'm Kel, this is Spelled Out. Thanks so much for watching. For more great content like this, be sure to follow along, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know how to tell them they forgot the nets also.